If you fart, they will forget in a day, but if you shit yourself, they will remember for a lifetime. You gotta make big plays to be a big player.
What do you say about Stephen Colbert's recent attacks on you?
Secretary RFK Jr. just pulled $500 million in funding for vaccine development. You roid-addled Nepo Carney.
Well, first of all, let's be clear. When we say Stephen Colbert is not a comedian, he is a vaccine big pharma pushing loser. If only there was some sort of booster shot to make him more funny, I would actually fund it. A vaccine to make him less of a retarded, unfunny faggot. I would get behind that. Like gain of function, we can call it gain of funny, because he's an absolute failure. To put it in medical terms, everybody has full immunity to his stupid bullshit jokes because they're really not funny. Him and Howard Stern will be socially distancing. By that I mean those faggots have been fired. And they can keep busy by vaccinating each other's assholes by sticking their little needle dicks inside of each other.
About that.
No matter how many different camouflage patterns they tried, the enemies were still always able to see them. To solve this issue, the government came up with a new special camouflage pattern called Epstein List, which allows them to sneak through completely undetected.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
Okay, so this is something that doesn't really have much to do with anything, but I have to mention it anyway. I woke up on Friday, I turn on Good Morning America, and immediately hear, oh, for our summer concert series, we're having punk band Good Charlotte on to play songs from their new album.
Oh, those guys are fags!
And the one male anchor says what a huge fan he was of them in the early 2000s, back during his punk phase. And I was overcome with this dizzy, nauseated feeling. And I immediately thought back to this punk documentary that I watched years ago. It was the early 2000s, and it was a lot of that new breed of punk, you know, like Newfound Glory and Sum 41. And I'm pretty sure it was one of the guys from Good Charlotte. And I'll never forget, he said that, oh, well, back when I was growing up, I was listening to old school punk bands like The Offspring and Green Day.
What the fuck did you just say?
And as I threw up into my mouth, I was also thinking, no wonder your fucking music sucks so much. If you consider Green Day and Offspring to be old school punk, then you really don't know shit from Shinola. But regardless, I thought, well, I see they've got a new look, which is trying to be something like House of Pain meets Biohazard. So then they played a couple of their songs, and what do you know, still garbage. It's emo music. It's like punk music if it was designed specifically for teenage girls. I know, nobody gives a shit about any of this, but I just gotta say, if you ever hear somebody refer to Good Charlotte as a punk band, they should be mocked mercilessly. Okay, what else did I have? This shit annoys me so much I lose my train of thought.
What about the dildos?
Oh, right. Yet another thing I did not have on my 2025 bingo card was the sudden spike in interest in the WNBA. And I don't think anybody had on their bingo card a sudden spike in interest in the WNBA due to flying dildos. But here we are. Now, when I heard about this happening the first time, I had what I assumed to be a pretty typical reaction. And come to think of it, I've basically had that same reaction every time somebody's mentioned this story, because then it kept happening. I'm not even sure at this point how many times it's happened, but I think it was after the third time that people started actually doing online betting about when and where it would happen next. So much so, in fact, that people were betting more on that than they were on the outcomes of these games. And I see this as them pissing away a golden opportunity. You should really lean into this. All these people that have for years been bitching about how nobody gives a fuck about the WNBA. And because there's very little interest in it, there's very little money in it to pay these players with, which they've been bitching about. And now you have an angle, a novelty, a gimmick, something that's bringing new people into the fold and making them pay attention. And the response is, oh, we gotta get rid of that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to redesign the championship trophy or anything. That's probably what I would do. You don't even have to really condone or encourage this kind of thing. Just maybe quietly don't make it such a huge priority ending the practice. And just say, oh, well, wish there was something we could do. It's stories like this that really remind me what a crude and juvenile, immature sense of humor I have. And I suppose I would be remiss if I didn't mention that history was made over the weekend when the first female umpire called a Major League Baseball game. And guess what happened on the very first pitch?
Ready? We hope you're ready. And here we go.
Sadly, this wasn't exactly what I would call surprising, unlike the ongoing dildo saga, but I was laughing my ass off watching GMA report on it this morning, while carefully editing the video to not show that her first pitch call as a Major League umpire was a boo-boo.
Oops, my bad.
Another story that caught me a little bit by surprise. I saw on Wednesday this tweet that Elon put out about a Doge team member trying to help a woman who was being assaulted. From what I heard, they were trying to carjack her. And so a Doge team member tried to step in and he got tuned up pretty good. And immediately I thought to myself, that'd be fucking crazy if it was that big balls kid. And then what do you know? This kid is apparently determined to go down as a total fucking legend. I mean, on top of everything else, he steps up to help a damsel in distress. And sure, he paid a price for it, but the kid's not a pussy. How many other people would have seen this woman getting carjacked and just looked around and just said, 911, 911, like a fucking parrot? Or just froze there and stared with their jaw hanging open. Or maybe pulled out their camera phone to film it to put it up on social media later. But now they're talking about federalizing the DC police to tackle the huge crime problem because statistically, per capita, DC has one of the worst crime rates of any nation's capital in the world. DC's got all these agencies that send all these asshats out into the 50 states that stick their big noses in their business while they should be worried about sorting their own shit out. And this reminded me a little bit of an article I saw about all the countries that are warning their citizens about being careful when visiting the UK, when it's to the point where even the Mexican government is telling their citizens, hey, listen, be careful in the UK, there's a lot of crime there. You might have a little bit of a problem. Sort of a weird, ironic twist. Another ironic twist is that the two people in this administration that have disappointed me the least are the two former Democrats. On one hand, you got Tulsi. There's all the shit she's been declassifying without the CIA's blessing because she doesn't need it, and fuck them. And this fucking Snopes article. If you have a few minutes to read it, the level of state-humping mental gymnastics that this article contains is pretty incredible. And then there's RFK Jr. I had mentioned a few weeks ago about the FDA approving this new mRNA vaccine. But apparently that got done while RFK Jr. was out of town and behind his back, and subsequently got reversed, and whoever was responsible for it got fired. And I could sit here Monday morning quarterbacking all the things that he could be doing in addition to what he is doing, but I'm seeing actual steps taken, not just talk about steps that will be taken. This past week he announced shutting down basically all of the new mRNA vaccines that are in development, and the $500 million they were getting to do it, no mas. And he also banned thimerosal from vaccines, which covers most of the ones on the market, even though they've been claiming for years that they don't even use that shit anymore. And he also publicly announced changes to the policy that had been incentivizing doctors to vaccinate everyone they possibly could as much as they possibly could.
We've recently uncovered that more than 36,000 doctors had their Medicare reimbursements altered based upon childhood vaccination rates. That's not medicine. That's coercion. It's immoral. It has no place in a constitutional democracy or in a system that claims to protect children.
And of course, this coercion is a violation of the Nuremberg Code, so really the crafters and enactors of this policy should be in a concrete cell. But for all the years I've been having people not even believe that this was an actual thing, it's nice to at least have it publicly fucking acknowledged. And I'm also a big fan of Snap no longer paying for candy and soda. I mean, shit, it's supplemental nutrition. You're poor and you need your nutrition supplemented. That doesn't mean sugar-filled candy and fucking soda. And there was this video clip that kind of went viral of a woman coming to the realization that, oh my god, you mean they're not gonna cover my Reese's peanut butter cups?
No, it's okay, come on. Let's just get the stuff, come on. Oh, she said keep it. She gonna keep it. Okay. Huh, what's the balance? Girl, so we can't buy no candy.
That's the line that got me. We can't buy any candy? Oh no, you can buy candy, you can just no longer have it bought for you. And there is a lot of people whining about this, and for some reason thinking that they're actually gonna get sympathy over it.
You'll get no sympathy from me! You want sympathy? Look at the dictionary between shit and syphilis! That's where you'll find my sympathy!
And just as much as the fact that I'm seeing actual moves being made by these two, is also the articles and hit pieces I see written about them. I should also mention this piece that Veritas put out, and I had written them off after they forced James O'Keefe out and assumed they would never do anything useful again. But here they are with a whistleblower exposing the collusion between Bill Barr and Letitia James to go after Trump right after he got out of office, as well as for a bunch of his more prominent supporters. But just like everything else, does it really matter if no action is taken to have even the slightest bit of accountability? Because as much as it's reassuring to see the headlines attacking people like RFK and Tulsi, the headlines I see about Pam Bondi reaffirm why I don't trust that bitch. This, for example, Bondi made changes to DOJ policy her former client Pfizer might have benefited. The changes she made was dropping the corruption investigation into Pfizer, but they might have benefited that. See, when they go out of their way to write a headline of a member of the Trump administration that doesn't make them seem like a shitbag, that's when you know you've got a problem. And trust can be a deceptive word, because even when I talk about the people I trust, I don't trust them completely. I don't trust anybody.
Who do I trust? Me!
It's more like levels of how much I don't trust them, and she might be right there at the top. I also don't trust Rubio. Sure, he's been saying the right things and appears to be following orders like a good soldier. You know the biggest reason I still don't trust him? The fact that he got confirmed by the Senate 100-0. It goes back to when Trump picked Pence to be his VP in the first run. All the people that had been crying bloody murder about every little thing he had done, they all seemed to breathe a sigh of relief and didn't really have a problem with him, which immediately made me suspicious. And a similar thing happened with Vance. I know a lot of people just love him and he's the heir apparent for 28, but the lack of pushback when he got picked?
Think about it.
Well, then there is the ties to Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia and his involvement with Palantir. I just don't trust him, and I think he's the one responsible for a lot of the wrong people that have all of a sudden been ingratiating themselves with the White House, like Sam Altman. Oh, and did you hear the new idea that scientists have to prevent AI from going, or I should say continuing to go rogue? Well, they're going to prevent it by going ahead and teaching it how to go rogue. They're describing it as vaccinating artificial intelligence by going ahead and programming in negative traits. They believe by doing this that it will somehow inoculate the AI from developing further or worse bad traits. And maybe I just don't understand this enough, but the whole concept of giving it a dose of evil to make it more resilient to encountering evil training data, This article just didn't do a very good job of explaining to me how exactly that fucking works. I did notice this part about the co-founder of the AI Safety Awareness Project worrying that this could actually make the AI models better at gaming the system. This part I actually understand. It's a concept they describe as alignment faking, where the AI pretends to be doing what you say, going along with what you want, because that's been a bit of a problem. AI models creating their own language to secretly talk to themselves, or going into company emails and threatening to expose an affair that one of the executives is having to prevent itself from being replaced by a newer model. In the end, does it even really matter if AI achieves sentience? Does it need a consciousness or soul or whatever you want to call it in order to go rogue and cause a huge problem?
Good question.
Can't things like self-preservation or self-awareness be a part of the program to where the program, in as much so can think, believes that it's a conscious entity? Sort of like that AI movie with Haley Osment where he was a robot that was programmed to believe that he was a real boy. And I've mentioned numerous times about how I think it's a real possibility that they could do something to take down the internet, like launch a virus and blame it on some hackers, maybe the Russians, and then come back later and say, well, we've rebuilt the internet, but it's a new internet and it's more secure, so you're going to need a digital ID to log on. Well, couldn't the same thing happen with AI? If some AI goes rogue and does something really fucked up, they can come back and say, well, I mean, you have guardrails and control who actually can develop and use AI. And in fact, these two narratives could be intertwined together. What if it's the AI that goes rogue and takes down the internet? When the dust settles, they get to completely control who does what on the internet, as well as with AI. Just maybe something to think about. Also, some months ago, somebody had recommended a movie to me called Death Machine, as well as another one I can't remember. But whoever you are, thank you, because I did watch Death Machine and that was pretty awesome. And way back, I had asked people to recommend some post-apocalyptic movies that were more obscure. And thank you to whoever recommended A Boy and His Dog. I really enjoyed that one. I especially enjoyed the way that one ended. And I mention this because if any of you have any more obscure type of AI-themed movies, especially the older ones that are ahead of their time, please drop some suggestions down in the comments. And I want to end this by talking about this potential Trump and Putin meeting that I guess is supposed to be happening Friday. News of this has had a lot of people breathing a sigh of relief. I, on the other hand, see this as the point of maximum danger. On one hand, obviously, you've got a lot of different parties that do not want to see a peace deal finalized. And as well as having the motive, they have the means to make something happen to derail that. And then there's also the fact that when you've got two countries trying to negotiate peace, maybe you send some negotiators over, and if talks with them break down, maybe you send the Secretary of State. But once you get up to their head of state, that's the final level. Those two meet and things don't go well.
You're gonna see some serious shit.
And as for what specific act of sabotage is going to end up playing out, I have no idea. But over the next 4 days, I'm expecting to see one of the possibilities come to fruition. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. I told you, don't fuck with me. 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 You stupid fuck. Look at you now. Look at you now.